Welcome back to my channel, guys. It's time for another manga chapter review. Welcome once again, guys. It's time for chapter 8 of Asahina Wakaba Marumaru na Kareshi. Butchering the name, I know, but oh well. Pretty good chapter. I wouldn't say a lot happened in this chapter, but I would say the character build up was very important in this chapter because it does show a different side for each of our main characters, Asahina and Haruto. But before I continue, a few things. If you haven't done so by now, subscribe to my channel. You have still like about 9 or 8 days to subscribe to my channel, and if you do, then you can go to the giveaway video and you guys can get some free merch on November 1st. Thank you so much for everyone who has been repeatedly supporting my channel. We met our 3,700 goal early on in the month, and now we're so close to reaching 3,800 subscribers. So thank you so much. We also reached our 10,000 goal in TikTok. So if you haven't done so, go and check me out there as well. I post a lot of stuff there as well. Pretty awesome that we've been reaching our goals this past month. Okay, guys, this is going to be a spoiler alert, but not a big one. So just so if case you don't want any to be ruined, then don't watch past this point. But in reality, if you're watching chapter 8, you might as well just listen because you're already here. I'll say, so the episode starts with Asahina leaving her house with her sister, and her sister just making a comment. And this comment really shows that not only in her social life she's different, but even at home, because at home is where she was herself, is where she felt safe, is where she felt like nothing could stop her, and she basically was her own person there, right? So in theory, they should have really not felt like anything was wrong, but her sister had intuition, and her sister has a good intuition, because when Asahina's leaving with her, she's like, I don't know what it is, but you just look a lot happier lately, and I'm glad for it. I'm glad that you're feeling better. Whatever it is, keep it up. So Asahina goes and then finds Haruto, and they walk to school together, and they have a lovely again conversation. And her thoughts are kind of the same: is that she is really wanting to be with him now, and she doesn't understand what that feeling is. I do, we do, but anyways, she really is happy. She's like, I just feel happy, relief myself when I'm with him. And they arrive to school, and he goes to his classroom again. The classroom is overly his classroom at least overly in love with their relationship. They love her for it. You know, he's a nice guy. They know that deep down he is, so they're happy for him, right? The best type of people you want to have. Then she goes to her classroom, and it's a whole 180 with her classroom, because the girl that the girl keeps bullying her. I forgot her name, but anyways, she comes up to her and tells her again like that she is disgusted to see her relationship with him, and that it makes her feel happy that she is in pain and all this. Now, Asahina does look real mad, and she is enjoying it. Her bully is, but what we don't know is that, or what she doesn't know, at least the bully, because we do know, is that Asahina's not really mad at the fact that she's being pressured and bullied into dating him. She's mad that the view of this girl of Haruto is completely wrong. She has now met Haruto, and she's met who he really is, and she knows that Haruto is actually a nice guy. He's actually not that not even not that bad of a person. He's actually a great person, and it angers her that she is talking bad about him. Now, she goes off in her own thing, but we then see a girl come up to Asahina, and Asahina immediately thinks this girl is going to continue with the bullying, right? And no, in fact, this girl is very shy. She's very quiet. And Asahina starts talking to her, and in her own thoughts, she's like, wait, I would have never done this a few months ago. And then the girl talking to Asahina goes on into apologizing for not being brave enough to go against the wishes of the rest of the class. And Asahina goes into this realization in her life that there's a lot of people in her classroom like this girl um, that just didn't spoke up. They just stayed back. Like not her entire classroom doesn't hate her. Her entire classroom doesn't dislike her or wish anything bad upon her. It's really just a small group. The problem is the rest of the classroom is afraid of that small group, and that affects how the people act in her classroom. So she comes to realize that this girl is brave. One, because she's coming up to Asahina, apologizing to her, even though that she might be bullied because of it. So she goes and tells her that she's thankful for what she's saying and that she's brave for doing so, and that in itself is a whole switch on Asahina. Because when we initially first met Asahina in her classroom, she just didn't like anyone. She didn't want to be there. She hated it for obvious reasons. She would get bullied, so she tried to be as invisible as possible. Obviously, that didn't work out for her, but she did. And now she's realizing that there's good people in her classroom. There's kind people in her classroom. They're just not brave enough yet, or not bold enough to stand up to these bullies that they have in their classroom. So that was a great build. Not at the end of the chapter, because there's even more in the chapter. Pretty big chapter, I would say. Asahina had to go on their way and had to leave. Tells Asahina that he has to do something, so she ends up not hanging out with him that evening. Her mom asks her to go get groceries, so she goes to go grocery shopping, and she bumps into Haruto and another girl. Now, before she even goes to him, she realizes one thing. Again, is what is this feeling that I have of me seeing him with this girl? We know, I know, we know, jealousy. Jealousy obviously was creeping up on him, on her. And anyway, she approaches them, and Haruto then goes on to present his mother. Yeah, and we get a little understanding because Haruto, I think he's like 14, something like that. Or maybe 15. Anyways, they're talking, and in one of those instances, his mom says, "I had you in my tummy already at your age." So we know that she had him at a young age. She's probably still in her 29 years old, maybe 28, maybe 30 years old. She's still pretty young. She's around my age, right? I'm still pretty young. So, anyways, that is essentially what was going on, and she tells him, "Go on, you have fun," and stuff like that. Now, what do we know? What do we learn about that kind of stuff? There's a few things. We can assume that Haruto probably comes from a single parent family, and if he does, he probably has spent a lot of his time alone. Because of it, sometimes people like him will grow either one way or the other, craving social interaction, which I think in his place is what's happening. He wants friends. He wants to be part of the group. He wants to be friendly with everyone. He has compassion for people. That's, I think, what is happening with him. Now, the other side, which happens to other people, is that they learn and they come to love being alone, and so much that social groups and stuff like that is, it's almost as up to an anxiety attack, because they don't understand it. They don't understand why people want to be with other people at all times, because they're not used to it, right? His mom works probably all the time. It looks like Haruto puts every effort to be with his mom, and this is just an assumption, but I think that's basically what's happening. Because not many people who get pregnant at a young age end up with that person. I would even say it's lower than 10% of how that works nowadays. Obviously, back then, maybe more. I would say 50, 60, 80 years ago, maybe, yes. But today, if someone gets pregnant, at 15, 16, it's very rare for the guy to stay with the girl. Um, and that's just reality. So I'm gonna assume that he comes from a single family, and that's why maybe he is just unique in his own way. He also has made a lot of comments about how he loves how Asahina loves talking about her family and her parents and her sister. Maybe that's something that he craves for his own. I don't know. But we got quite a bit of build up of characters in these chapter. Again, not a lot of important stuff happened, but it did. We got a lot of information. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this. If you have not done so by now, subscribe to my channel. Thank you for your love and support. I hope you guys continue watching this series with me, and I hope you like how I dissect this series. And thank you guys for your love and support again. And like always, don't be strangers. Subscribe.